How's it going? Welcome to the second installment of the World's Okayest Drummer. Today's episode is going to be a little instructional and it's going to be a little drum nerdy. So if you want to just see somebody playing drums, you might want to scroll on. If you want to kind of know what's going on in a drummer's mind, kind of some different tricks and maybe some exercises you might do, just some different ways to think about playing, then hang around. So today, the last episode I talked about time and the importance of keeping a steady beat, staying with it, and both practicing with a metronome and without a metronome, and the importance of both of those. Um, Today, I want to talk to you about how you make time feel differently and how you might try to create a pocket or a style or a voice that's your own. Um, and so, what we do is time is this consistent beat that doesn't change. And what we do around that, the things that we do, and the way we compress things or open things up or just weigh things, make things heavier or not, those kind of things create our feel. Um, the legendary Steve Jordan posted a great video talking about the meaning of the word rock and roll. And some of you might think, well, rock and roll comes from the rocking of the boat, or, I've heard several different things, but I love his interpretation of it, and that is the rock portion of rock and roll is the stiff, rigid eighth notes. And the roll part of rock and roll is maybe what the drummer primarily the drummer's job is to kind of bring this kind of swing element into it, and the fighting and the where those things settle between the straight and the swing is what makes rock and roll cool. And honestly, that's my goal. Whenever I play a tune, I'm always trying to kind of, in a sneaky kind of way, make it funky or make somebody's head bob. I'm always looking for that kind of way to make something feel good, rock and roll. Um, and so, with that in mind, there's an exercise that I want to show you that I stole from Stanton Moore that has to do with a consistent beat, steady time, and the way we move an eighth note from straight eighth notes to swing to flams, and then back over across the beat to flams again, and to swing, and then finally to open eighth notes again. So it's really the kind of thing where if this is a constant note, here's eighth notes together, and then we're kind of moving it to swing, kind of getting it to flams, past a unison, past, open to swing again, and back to eighth notes. And just that thought process and that minutia in detail in your practice is going to help you have some kind of thought process. And honestly, when I'm playing drums, this is the thing that's probably sitting there right in the front of my mind is where can I place the ghost notes, the small things, where can I place the beats, where can I put some weight on this to make it feel good. And usually it involves kind of compressing or opening up time in some way. Um, but what I try to do is I get somewhere where it either feels really comfortable or uncomfortable, and I hang around long enough till it does. So, quarter notes, eighth notes, feeling good. Now I'm going to kind of start to move that left hand a little closer to where the right hand is. That feels good to me. I might just hang around right there and even get it closer. Flams, open flams, tight flams, unison, back to tight flams, open on the other side, little dog barking action, swing, even more open, and back to eighth notes. It's just a really good exercise to kind of get yourself thinking in the right way. So when you're playing some beats, it's going to happen like that. Jacob Collier has a great explanation of this kind of movement of swing and kind of how we kind of compress these eighth notes. I'll post it in the description, but I'll go downstairs and play some exercises for you that kind of show you some ways that I kind of open and compress some things, maybe the same kind of stuff, so in just ways to kind of make my beat sound a little better. So one thing I'll do is just kind of put a buzz, like a little implied 5-stroke roll in a basic beat, something like this. Or sometimes I'll open it up just a little bit. Or make it a triplet. Then I'll just kind of go back and forth between trying different things of those. Really compressed. Basic, tiny, ghosty things that make your beat feel a little bit better. Sometimes I'll use them like in a fill. That was one of those things that went from a buzz to, so started out as a buzz and work it into a triplet. Now right there I'm thinking about bass drum placement, placing it right in the right spot, that it feels good. Really trying to get it really close to the beat. All those things change the feel dramatically, right? Then you got your bluzda, which I love when drum terms sound like what they are. So that's another thing that you can play nice and tight, like I just did. And that can be useful in something like that guy, and then you can kind of open it up. But I'm constantly thinking about different interpretations, compressing things, opening them up. How does that change? How does that make me feel? How does that make me play things a little bit differently? And it almost always causes me to react differently when I'm playing and play something different. And usually it's cool. makes me want to kind of do a 1 to 0 1 to 0 1 to 0 1, which is not a sliced up, but it's still cool. And it's just by thinking of compressing and decompressing. So I'll sit around a lot of times and just play some kind of a basic beat and practice working the rough as a tight buzz, super compressed, and then kind of opening it up almost to triplets back and forth, just kind of doing some of that for you. I'm thinking tight, nice tight, almost flam. Same beat interpreted differently. So, have fun. Soli Deo Gloria.